Hey everybody, welcome back to the Future of series. My name is Gormy, and today we are going to be going over the future of the St. Louis Blues. Now I'm gonna highlight some teams instead of doing the divisions in particular. I think going in depth with the teams will be much better and a lot more fun too. So this first episode will be with the St. Louis Blues. Now, what we're going to be talking about today is what kind of season the fans of the St. Louis Blues should expect going forward. Who is going to be the goalie for this franchise in the future? Is the prospect pool good enough for the future and for some of the players to make an impact sooner rather than later? Salary cap frenzy and moves, meaning what moves are the Blues going to make to better their future, and what players may they have to move on from in the future because of the salary cap hit that they currently have? And where do I see the Blues 10 years from now? We'll be talking about all this in today's episode of the future of the St. Louis Blues. Before we get into today's episode, though, you guys see below me my socials. We got Twitter, Twitch, Instagram. So if you guys are interested in following me on any of those, feel free to do so. I stream on Twitch every day of the week, meaning Monday through Friday. So definitely come check it out if you guys are interested. And without further ado, let's get into it. So, what kind of season should Blues fans expect? As you guys can tell from what I'm wearing and behind me, I'm clearly a Blues fan. So I'm actually going at this with no bias. I'm going at it with what realistically us Blues fans should expect. Now, you look at the new divisions. We are not going to be playing Winnipeg this year. We're not going to be playing Chicago, not going to be playing Dallas, not going to be playing Nashville. We now have to play Anaheim, Arizona, Colorado, LA, Minnesota, San Jose, and Vegas. Now, right away in this division, Colorado and Vegas are going to win this division. One of those two teams will win the division. The other one will finish second. The only way one of those teams or both of them do not either win it or come in second in it is if we are unreal or they get a bunch of injuries. Now, most likely the most realistic thing I see for the Blues is us finishing third. But like I said, if we're unreal, we can finish second or first. Or if Vegas or Colorado get injuries, we can finish second or first. But realistically, I see the Blues finishing third. Now, fourth, I see Minnesota. So the four making it out of the West, I see it being Minnesota, then us, Colorado, and Vegas. And I think us playing Colorado in the playoffs would be the best matchup for us because Vegas, I think, would have us in the playoffs. But Colorado, I think we could beat. Yes, they have Nathan McKinnon, Mikko Rantanen. It's a very good team over there. But I think we're more well-rounded than them. We have better defense, in my opinion. They have Kel McCarr, and that's kind of it. Whereas we definitely have more well-rounded defense. Yes, their forwards are unreal, but we have a very solid forward group as well, and we have better goaltending. So I definitely think that if we were to play Colorado in the playoffs, that we would beat Colorado. But first thing first is making it to the playoffs, and I definitely think the Blues will make it to the playoffs, and I think that we will finish in third or at least top three. Top three, I think, is a very realistic finish for the Blues this year, especially if Colorado or Vegas get injuries. We could definitely finish second or first if that happens, or if we just are absolutely unreal. Because, I mean, looking at the division, we should be able to handle Anaheim, LA, San Jose fairly easily. I think all these teams should handle those three pretty easily. But I really think that the Blues will finish third or at least top three, in my opinion. All right, so going into the future for the St. Louis Blues, who is going to be the goalie? Because that's the one thing the Blues have not had consistently and that is a goalie. We've been playing musical goalies for quite a while now, if I would say. I mean, ever since Cujo, we really haven't settled on a goalie per se. We've had Yaroslav Halak, Brian Elliott, Manny Legacy, Chris Mason, Ryan Miller, Jake Allen, Ben Bishop, Jordan Bennington. We've had quite a few others that were mainly backups, like Chad Johnson. That was a nightmare. But I mean, we've never really had a solidified goaltender. And before you see the list of the goalies that we have in our system. So at the NHL level, we have got Jordan Bennington and Ville Husso. AHL-wise, we've got Joe Hofer and John Gillies. Then we have got Evan Fitzpatrick in the ECHL. And then Colton Ellis and Will Cranley are playing in the juniors still. And then Vadim Zarenko is playing in the VHL, which the VHL is the farm league for the KHL teams. He plays on Dynamo's what would be AHL team over here. But I mean, I looked at all their numbers, and Zarenko, very solid, very, very solid actually. I think that he might actually get called up to the KHL. Will Cranley, solid. There's a reason why we took him. He played for the Ottawa 67s this year, going to be playing for them once they return to play again. Evan Fitzpatrick, I think he's had a lot of time to prove himself, and maybe he does well in the ECHL, but I really think that he just is not going to be the answer for the Blues. Colton Ellis, solid numbers. He could definitely improve. He plays for Rimouski. So, I mean, he was part of the team of the season last year for the QMJHL. He was the goalie for it. I forgot who was the backup on that team of the season, but he was the main goalie for the team of the season from the QMJHL on how players performed. John Gillies, absolutely love this kid. He played at the University of Providence. He was very, very good for them when they were absolutely stellar team. Played in the Frozen Four, I believe, 1 year. But he was with the Calgary Flames, and they just didn't see a future with him. He has gotten quite a bit of playing time. He is now going to be playing for Springfield, which is now our AHL affiliate. And I think that John Gillies, given the opportunity, could be a solid goalie. Now, he's not a franchise goalie. He's not a goalie that you could ride out through an entire season and be like, all right, he's definitely your goalie. He's not that. But he could be a very, very solid backup, like a very, very good backup. Now, Joe Hofer. This kid, I truly believe, is the future in net for the Blues. I don't think we need to go out and sign anybody. I don't think we need to trade for anyone. I think Joel Hofer is the answer for what we need. I think that he is going to kind of be like our Carter Hart. Joel Hofer, he played for Team Canada last year, won the gold, played for the Portland Winterhawks. He's going to be playing in the AHL for us this year. I mean, he's a stellar goaltender. He's very, very good. Honestly, if there is an injury to Jordan Bennington or Ville Husso, do not be surprised if they give Joe Hofer a chance. They would probably give John Gillies the chance first, but do not be surprised if they give Joe Hofer a chance, because there was a reason why they brought him in to kind of get some practice time in with the team before they went off to the bubble for the playoffs this past season. Now, Ville Husso, he's kind of a goalie like John Gillies. Maybe Husso becomes a very, very solid goalie for us, but I see him more being like the John Gillies role, like a very, very good backup. But Jordan Bennington, yes, he has won us a cup. He is the savior. He finally was the goalie to bring this team a cup, and he was stellar throughout. But you don't make a statement do I look nervous? And then the following postseason, you probably couldn't stop a beach ball. He did not have a good save percentage. We all saw how the team played in front of him, which, I mean, there were times where they were good. There were times where they were horrific. But Jordan Binnington definitely was not the Jordan Binnington from the season before. So hopefully he gets back to that level this season. We definitely need him to be. And if he is, I see him being the goalie until Joe Hofer is ready. Now, once Joe Hofer is ready, does Binnington become the backup? Probably not. We would probably let him go so that he can continue being a starter, or we would trade him and get some pieces back that we could really use for our future. But I really do think Joe Hofer is the answer that us Blues fans are looking for. Definitely try and watch this kid. Definitely watch his games from the World Juniors last year. He was phenomenal in them. And, I mean, Jordan Binnington, please, dude, please get back to how you played your first season for us, because you were a god amongst the goalies that season. All right. Now moving on to, is our prospect pool good enough for our future? These are our top 10 prospects. We've got Matthias Laferriere. He plays in the QMJHL. He is a forward. The thing that everyone's worried about with him is its consistency, because he can put up points, but there's spells where he's not doing anything. But once he's not doing anything, he then is like, oh snap, I need to start producing again, and then he just goes on a tear, but then he stops producing again. So his consistency definitely needs to get there. Hugh McGing, he plays in the NCAA for Western Michigan, actually. He is a forward. Now, a lot of people weren't going to pick him. They said that he shouldn't have been drafted, but obviously Doug Armstrong saw something in him, and he is usually the leading scorer for Western Michigan. He is the captain there, and he's a very solid forward. Now, he is on the shorter side. He is 5'9", I believe, so he's kind of like a Johnny Gaudreau, but with the way that we develop our smaller sort of forwards, I think that we could make something of this kid. He'll definitely need a lot of time to develop in the AHL, but I think give him 2 to 3 years, we might see him at the NHL level. Keyword might. It's not certain that he will get to the NHL level, but I think we definitely could make something of this kid. Tyler Tucker, OHL defenseman. Don't really know a whole lot about him. I do know that he is a very solid defenseman, though. Now, we have quite a bit of defensemen in our system, but none of them really pop out to me except for a certain one. They're all very solid. They can all do a job. But I mean, a player like Nico McCullough or Mitch Reinke, I would definitely see getting a spot over Tyler Tucker in the future, unless Tyler Tucker just absolutely blows up and then everyone's like, oh, do you know this Tyler Tucker kid? Because I'm not going to lie, I really do not know a whole lot about him, and I really have never heard of him before I was researching everything for today. Now, Alexei Torpachenko, this kid, he's played for the Guelph Storm, been in the AHL for us. He is a very solid player. It's just, when is he going to start excelling? Because he's a very solid talent. It's just, you need him to get to that next level. You need the light bulb to go off in his head and be like, all right, I really want this. Because there are times where he shows he really wants this, and then there's times where it's like, all right, I'm just going to go out and play. But I do think Torpachenko could end up, if he hits his full potential, being a top 9 forward for us. Whether he's on the third or second line. I don't see him being a first line forward. But maybe second line, definitely third line. He definitely has the potential to be a third line player. Mitch Reinke, I think could eventually get there. He would definitely be a bottom pairing D-man for us. Now, Nico McCullough, I think, could be a top 4 D-man. He did get some time. It might have been last year, maybe the year before. But I did like what I saw from him, and I think that if we get an injury defensively, I think that Nico McCullough should get the call up and be the D-man to come up and help us out. Nikita Alexandrov. All right. This top 4 I love. Nikita Alexandrov played for Team Russia, won the silver last year. He was a big part of them getting to that gold medal game. Nikita Alexandrov, I think, is going to be a very solid prospect for us, a very, very solid NHLer once he gets up there. Once again, top 9 forward, but I could definitely see him playing on a second line for his career compared to Torpachenko, where I think he would be a career third liner. But if Nikita Alexandrov really, really hits his stride, I think that he will be a big impact player for us in the future. Joel Hofer, already went over him. I think that he is the real deal for us. I think that he could be our Carter Hart, and I really think that he is our goalie for the future. Clem Kostin, once again, he's played for Team Russia at the juniors. He is a very, very solid player. I think we do need to give him more time at the NHL level, because just every time he comes up, he does pretty well, and then we send him back down. It's like, what exactly do you want to see from the kid? Do you want him to outplay Tarasenko, who's been playing at an NHL level forever now? Like, he needs to get used to that NHL level of play. He's used to the AHL level of play, but the AHL level of play and the NHL level of play are definitely different. So Clem Kostin definitely needs to have some time at the NHL level, whether they continuously just play him in preseason games, or if we get injuries, he's the first one to be called up. Hopefully Clem Kostin gets the time he deserves, and I really think he could be a big player for the Blues in the future. And now, my favorite prospect that the Blues have, our best prospect most definitely that the Blues have, Scott Perunovich. Scott Perunovich won the Hobey Baker Award for the University of Denver, I believe it was. Minnesota Duluth. My bad. Minnesota Duluth. He is an absolute stud. There's a reason why he was their captain. He's a great leader. He also has helped lead them to multiple national championships. And I mean, I know I'm gassing the kid up, but like, he's hopefully our Cale Makar, our Quinn Hughes. He's an offensive defenseman. He's 5'10". People say his skating isn't the best, but I mean, his skating is going to develop for sure. But I mean, his decision making and everything, it's stellar. He's definitely going to be a very, very good defenseman for us. Hopefully in the future, it is him and Colton Parayko. I think that those two together would just be unreal. And I think him with Torrey Krug on a power play would be a lot of fun to watch. Because that's one thing that we do need a little bit of improvement on, is our power play. And I think if we give Scott Perunovich a chance on the power play, he will make some magic. And I really, really hope that he plays this year for us. I don't see why he wouldn't, unless we want to give him a year of development in the AHL. Because I listed everybody at where they are currently playing. But Perunovich I listed as an NHL defenseman because that is where he should be. That is where he definitely belongs. But if we play him in the AHL, we play him in the AHL. We want him to grow a little bit, work on that skating. But if he plays in the NHL, he's going to be a man amongst children, honestly. Like, I really think he's going to be a stud. So Blues fans, definitely look out for this kid. He really has a bright future for us. All right, now on to the salary cap frenzy and moves. Now, you guys see on your screen right now, I have Tarasenko, Jaden Schwartz, Braden Shen. The reason why I have these three players, they make quite a bit of money. Now, I am currently wearing a Tarasenko jersey. I absolutely love the dude. But there's going to come a time where it's like, okay, is that $7.5 million that we are paying him worth it? Because he's been getting injured quite a bit recently. And it comes a point, okay, do we need to cut ties? The thing is, if we are to ever not have Tarasenko, he is going to go somewhere and win multiple cups. He will win 2, maybe 3 cups. He is a phenomenal goal scorer. He is a great, great player. Sometimes I feel we do not use him right. But, I mean, he's Vladdy. He's the tank. He's Vladimir Tarasenko. Like, he's our Ovi in a lot of ways. And I really don't think you should ever lose your team's Ovi. But, I mean, with his injury history, I really think that there may come a time to where Doug Armstrong thinks, all right, is it worth this $7.5 million to keep on dealing with this? With Jaden Schwartz, he's going to want a payday for sure because his contract's going to be up. It's either we pay him what he wants and we are even more salary cap strapped than we already are, or he goes to free agency, or he is on the Seattle Kraken, which if he goes there, they have a absolute stud to build around, honestly. But Jaden, absolutely love having him here. He is a great, great player. He can be very inconsistent at times, but he definitely shows up for the playoffs, which is what you need from every player is to show up in the playoffs. So, I mean, I would definitely take a 50, 60-point season from him, and then he just tears it up in the playoffs, which is usually what we get from him. So, I mean, it's just, he's going to want at least $6.5 million, and I don't know if that's worth 50 to 60 points. I would definitely pay him, I'd probably pay him what he's making right now, which is around 5. But, I mean, it's just, he's a player that is definitely like, all right, clutch time, crunch time, I'm here, I'm ready to play, let's win a cup. He's that type of player. Braden Shen, I get in arguments with a lot of people about Braden Shen. I absolutely love the dude. Absolutely love the dude. There's a reason why he has an A. It's just, Ryan O'Reilly makes $1 million more than him, and they produce in 2 completely different ways. Ryan O'Reilly makes 7.5, Braden Shen makes 6.5. During our playoff run, there was a time where I forgot he was on the ice because he wasn't doing anything. But then he gets a point on the board, and then boom, here comes Braden Shen. It's just, he's kind of like Jaden Schwartz sometimes, where that he can be inconsistent. But for that, I wouldn't pay 6.5 for that. Now, like I said with Jaden Schwartz, I'd pay him 5. So Braden Shen's definitely worth 5 in my book. It's just, if you're being paid $6.5 million, meaning he is being paid $1 million less than Ryan O'Reilly and Vladimir Tarasenko, you need to almost be producing like they are. So hopefully he does this year. It'll definitely make the money worth it. It's just, I expect more from Braden Shen for that money. He's a great player. He really is. Will we move on from him in the future? Most likely, because we'll want to give Robert Thomas time. Like, Robert Thomas deserves to be playing top 6 minutes, and right now he's not getting it. So, I mean, honestly, this year, if Vladdy misses, play Robert Thomas with Jaden Schwartz and Braden Shen. See what those 3 can do. Play Robert Thomas with David Perron and Ryan O'Reilly. See what they can do. But I really think that there will come a time where we may move on from all 3 of these guys. I really hope that day never comes, because I absolutely love these guys. They were all a part of the team that brought us a cup. So it will definitely hurt when either all 3 of them retire as a Blue, or all three of them move on from being a Blue. It's just, with the salary cap and how everything works nowadays, it's going to be kind of difficult. And like what you would move them for is you would move them for a Blues future. That's what you would do. But I mean, from the prospects I went over, the top 4 on that prospect list, I really, really believe in. Really, really believe in those 4. But I mean, these 3, I really hope they stay a Blue for their entire careers. I hope Braden Shen starts producing like that 6.5 he is paid. Like, you get paid 6.5, you should be producing like a $6.5 million player. Jaden Schwartz, I hope we hold on to him. I hope he's reasonable with his contract extension, but the man definitely deserves to be paid. And Tarasenko, I hope he can start being healthy, because everybody in St. Louis loves Vladdy. Like, once that kid made his debut, I feel like everyone saw the future of this team change before their eyes. Like, he made that debut against Detroit, and everyone's like, oh my God, we actually have an all-star now. So hopefully these 3 can be around for their entire career with the Blues. I would absolutely love it. And hopefully the salary cap gets increased so that we are able to afford these 3 no problem. All right, so where do I see the St. Louis Blues 10 years from now? 10 years from now, I see them at the Western Conference Final again. Whether they get there before the end of the decade or not, who knows? It would be amazing if they did. It would be amazing if we win another cup before the end of the decade. But I think by the end of the decade, once everyone is finally coming into their own, such as Nikita Alexandrov, such as Scott Perunovich, Joe Hofer, Robert Thomas, Jordan Kyrou, Sammy Blais, this team will be a very, very scary team. Plus, we got to start drafting for our future, because there's a lot of times where we take players and we're like, huh? Who? Why? We need picks where we're like, hell yes. Thank you for picking him. That kid will really help us in the future. Because one player that I really wanted the Blues to take was Noah Gunler, and Carolina ended up taking him. Now, Carolina knows how to draft. If we can have someone come here and tutor us on how to draft, that'd be great, and we would have an unreal future. But Doug Armstrong definitely has a method to his madness, as we can all clearly tell. But the man is a low-key genius. He is definitely a low-key genius because he made this team work. And hopefully, with what he is doing with the draft, free agency, making moves and whatnot, it gets us to a Western Conference Final by the end of this decade again, and hopefully to a Stanley Cup Final, and hopefully Stanley Cup champions once again, because now that we have one, we want more. This team can definitely get more. It's just you need to build for the present and for the future at the same time. We're definitely building for the present. We definitely need to start focusing a little bit more than we are on building for the future as well. But that prospect list, those top 4, they're going to be huge for us. They really, really are. But 10 years from now, I think that we will be at the Enterprise Center enjoying some Western Conference Final hockey, maybe even some Stanley Cup Final hockey once again. All right, that is going to do it here for the future of the St. Louis Blues. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. Loved making it. I mean, it's my hometown team, so I definitely enjoy making videos like this. We're going to be highlighting way more teams here in the near future as well. Probably going to do one of these a week as well with the Sauce and Biscuits podcast that I just started, so make sure to check that out. Just actually recorded one for the World Junior Championship, so definitely check that out. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in your comments below what you think the Blues are capable of this season, where you see the Blues 10 years from now, and what you guys think of our prospects, because the top 4, I'm telling you guys, they are going to be absolute studs. So once again, thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Socials right here down below me. Check those out. That is Twitter, Twitch, Instagram if you guys are interested. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.